Okay, so the first thing we're going to do to make our artistic names is we're going to take this piece of paper and we're going to very carefully fold it in half. So take it all the way to the edge and fold it in half. That's so we can find that middle line. We're not going to draw on that middle line, we're just going to have a middle line there on a fold that will go away after we're done drawing and painting on it. Now I'm going to give you piece of paper with your name written in all capital letters. When I give you this piece of paper, I want you to count how many letters are in your name. My name has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 letters are in my name. Now, I want you to then find the middle letter. Some of you won't have a middle letter because you have an even number. So let's see here. If I go 1, 2, 3, and then there's 1, 2, 3 on the end. So 4 is my middle letter. And I'm going to circle the K. Let's say Beth is doing the project. And this is Beth's name, and Beth comes around and she numbers hers 1, 2, 3, 4. Now Beth doesn't have a middle letter. If she chooses 3, then there's 2 on this side and 1 on this side. If she chooses 2, then there's 1 on this side and 2 on this. She doesn't have a middle letter. So for her, if you don't have a middle letter, you draw a line right there to let you know where the middle is in your name. Let's do another one. Let's say Beth doesn't go by Beth, she goes by Elizabeth. Elizabeth's a very long name, but it will fit too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 letters in that one. The A is the middle letter there because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 letters on this side and 1, 2, 3, 4 letters on that side. All right. I am Mrs. Kuhn, so I am going to use my own name, and you will use your own name. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write my middle letter on the middle line here. I'm not going to write my first letter, I'm going to write my middle letter. Because if we write our first one and try to get all the way to the end, then what ends up happening is it gets all off center, and we want it to be centered. And this is a way to center words on a page. So, there's my middle line, can you see it? And I'm going to put my K over the middle line. All right, and I'm going to cross that off because I've written it. Then I can do my O going all the way from the top, take it all the way down to the bottom. Capital letter O. Cross that off. Now I'm going to go on this side. It's my S. All the way to the top, all the way to the bottom. And cross that off. O, all the way to the top and the bottom. Cross it off. R. N. I have just enough room for my N. And M. Oops, all the way to the top there. There we go. Great. And this can just be thrown away, or you can take it home if you really want to. Okay, now that I have it penciled out, I'm ready to make it nice, big, fat lines. Right now it's skinny lines, and I want to turn them into fat lines. All right, now we're going to make these skinny lines into nice, fat, black lines. To do that, we're going to use black oil pastels, and so that the oil pastels go down very smoothly and thickly, we're going to use this piece of felt as a coloring placemat. So you lay down your piece of felt, your coloring placemat, and then you're just going to go over your pencil line. Well, that's just a skinny line. That's not going to do. We want a nice thick line. So go over it a couple times using kind of the fat part of your oil pastel. Just go over it like that. times. Now see how that's kind of gray? It's because I didn't push down very hard. I want it nice and black like this. So push down nice and hard. Don't break your oil pastel. Just nice and firmly. And go over each line. All right, I'm going to go into fast forward mode so that you can see how I do this. You can also move your paper around if you need to, if that's a better angle for you. Great, just like that. And that's going to be all we do for this time. Next time we'll paint this in. And if it's got any where you can see the pencil line, just go over that again with like the point of it. All right, after we've made those nice dark lines, we're going to use watercolors. Watercolors are nice because you can make them light or you can make them dark. And you can color in these spaces any way you want. Now you just put in some water and you just kind of pet your brush in there until your brush turns that color. And that's how you know it's ready. And then you can paint in wherever you want. And what's nice is that oil pastel does something called resist the watercolors, and it won't let it go on top of it. If I want it to be a darker red, I just get more paint and I just put in a little bit darker. Now you don't want to go over this too many times because it will start to make the paper tear up the paper, so just like maybe twice at most. Then rinse off your brush and you can get another color. Adding some water. Now that I just did 1 or 2 times and it turned my brush that color on one side but not on the other side. Let's see what happens. Oh, it's a very, very light shade. You can barely see the color. You probably want to have much darker shade. So add more color to it, more color to your brush. And if you need to add more water to get more color, do so. Now you might notice in my palette, I have taken out the black. That's because we already have black lines. So we don't want to fill our space up with black. We want to fill it up with some nice color. And then you just continue to fill each space up with different color. I would suggest that you not have any 2 colors sitting next to each other as neighbors. So I want to put green there because green's right there. So I'm going to put blue there instead.